Hey, welcome
Hi.
to the Virtual Campground. Looks like you can hear us. The microphone's working anyway.
Well, that's good.
So check
Oops.
1 2, check 1 2. I need to scoot over closer to my sweetheart. So
You can
yeah,
see
so
we're
just
not in our RV.
yeah, we're not in the RV, obviously. So let us know if you can hear us first off, and second off, yeah, we're not in our RV. We're in a home in Porterville, California.
Yep, that's right.
And we have a long story to tell about that.
We do. We have a lot of great information today. We have
Yeah.
a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to share with you
Lots
guys.
of stuff.
And we're hoping that you will share back with us your information as well. So we cover some topics to do with campground booking and tools to use to get your travel planned, and also tools to use once you're in a place that
Yeah.
helps you enjoy it even more.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of information. So get your pens out, get your pad of paper out. Let's see. Let us know if you can hear us. Because we want you to.
We want you to hear us.
Otherwise, this is looking pretty goofy. All right.
All right. Well, we'll move on, and then somebody will eventually tell
Somebody
us.
will eventually tell us that we're talking. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got two parts to tell about where are we? Can they hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Phew. All right. Hearing is good. Okay. So 2 parts to tell.
Yes.
One is where is the rig right now, and obviously we're not in the rig.
No.
I don't know if it's really obvious. Maybe we just upgraded to a really big rig. But that is where our rig is now, and it is in Three Rivers, California, about 45 minutes down the road, and has abysmal cell service.
Very bad.
We had to come into the town. So anyway, that's where we are now. It's a nice little campsite right on the river. And by the way, those trash cans, we did not hit those trash cans. They were already beat up when we got there. So that is not because of us, but anyway, got our little site there.
And that campground is only about, 20 minutes from the entrance to
Oh, yeah,
Sequoia
yeah.
National Park.
20 minutes, and then it becomes an extremely windy road.
I don't know if you've ever been to Sequoia National Park, but that is truly the longest winding road. We're sure Paul McCartney was talking about that song when he was singing, because it is.
That leads to your door.
Yes.
I don't know where her
It
door is.
doesn't go to a door, but yes, it's a
wasn't-
very long,
wasn't in
windy
Sequoia.
road. Very lots of S-curves.
Yeah, so it's a crazy drive in, but it's beautiful. And I'm not sure what that means. So anyway, the second part of
Yes,
what we have,
the
why
story.
are we here? So because of the bad cell service. All right, so first off, it starts off many days ago, not that many days ago really, and we
Just
were
like
walking
2
through
weeks.
Death Valley.
Yes, we've been to a lot of state parks in just the last month.
Or
We've been
federal,
to Zion,
National parks.
National Parks. What is
Yeah.
that? Yeah, national parks. To Zion, to Death Valley, and now to Sequoia. But in Death Valley, which we were in just 2 weeks ago,
Yep.
we happened to see this young lady on the left with her shirt, which is a KYD shirt.
Yeah,
so
Keep
those
Your
of you,
Daydream.
if you know Keep Your Daydream, which is a very vivacious couple we follow on YouTube as well. Anyway, she had on their summer shirt. So Barry took a picture of her, and then after taking a picture of her, you should probably talk to her.
Yeah, it's a little creepy if you don't. So we struck up a conversation, and they're supporters of Keep Your Daydream, as were we, and so we just got to talking, and they asked us what our plans were, and we said we were heading up to the Sequoia and Kings Canyon area, but we're really kind of struggling on where to stay. Did they have any suggestions? And she's like, "Oh, stay in our driveway." Actually, I think technically the way it happened was I asked how long your driveway is, because they said they lived in the area. So I joked about how long is your driveway, and she said, "Oh, it's plenty long. Come park at our driveway." So, oh my gosh, so it was incredible. Great couple. They are fairly new to the trailer world, although they're very active couple, and they've lived here for 30 years, and so we had a great time with them. We ended up camping in their driveway for a weekend.
Right. So we ended up trying to come up here. We were going to try to boondock, and we discovered not a lot of BLM land up here.
No.
So we were having trouble finding a campground at the last minute, because we were pretty much last minute. And so we did stay someplace we're going to talk a little bit about later for a while, and then came here for the weekend. And they have been amazing.
It's been incredible.
Oh my gosh. They
Yeah.
fed us dinner, which we had
A really
asked
good dinner.
Yeah, really yummy. We had suggested we would take them out to repay them, and they ended up feeding us. And then we met them for lunch on Sunday, and when we got to talking to him, Barry mentioned he had a flat tire in his brand new bicycle, and Tim fixed it.
Yeah, he just happened to have the right size tube that he wasn't going to need anymore, and he said, well, I've got a tube, let's just throw your bike up on the rack and fix it. Holy smokes, what kind of service is that?
And then, of course, since they were so kind, we, of course, traipsed on them again by coming here today.
Yeah, so we recognized that we were having trouble, and we really were running out of options. We looked into a couple of other options, but
The coffee shops around here all close at like 3 or
Yeah,
4, so
yeah,
they weren't
so
very good options.
weren't good options. So anyway, we asked them if we could borrow their. They have this beautiful game room and shop attached to this, and it's just a great little room for us to do our show. We may do it every month from here.
We'd have to come back, but okay. So, that said, today's show is sponsored by...
It's sponsored by... yeah, hold on. We do have a sponsor. This is exciting. This is my first sponsor read. It's sponsored by Farmers Tractor and Equipment Company, serving the Valley since 1936. And when I say the Valley, I don't mean part of the Valley, the whole Valley. So we're thinking, I've got my eye on a hay tractor that looks really, really nice. So I'm thinking we need to buy a farm around here so I can get a tractor. They've got great financing rates right now, and 0% interest on some. And
You're doing a great sponsor read, yeah. But farm is not in your future right now.
So
no.
if you are coming to the Valley, this area near Sequoia National Park, and you decide you want to buy a farm, buy your tractor from Farmers Tractor. What did I say? Farmers. I'm gonna have to get better at that.
And equipment.
Yeah.
Yes, and we should have bought a lotto ticket, Kellyanne. Then that would have made much more sense because we had such good luck going. This
Yeah.
whole week we
Oh
really
my gosh,
have.
it
So
really has been incredible.
maybe we should run out
Yeah.
today and buy one.
Yeah.
So we'll have to look into that. I don't
Yeah.
know in California where you buy lotto tickets.
Oh, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I've seen it
Okay.
everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
All right.
so this has been
So
awesome.
that's where we are.
Yes.
It has been amazing, and
It has
a
been.
big shout out to the Doyles for helping us out.
Yes, thank
They
you.
have been amazing.
Yes. So, yes, we are close to Sequoia National Park. We have come to realize over the last month or so of trying to get close to national parks, you really can't get that close,
No, it's tough.
especially if you want cell service.
Especially if you want cell service and a rig of our size.
Yes.
Ours is not a huge rig, but
It's
at
too
36 feet, it's just not nimble enough to get into some of those park campgrounds.
Well, and like in Sequoia National Park, there's a couple of campgrounds, but I think you have to be under 29 feet
Yeah.
for the first couple, and after 22, if you want to go very much further.
Yeah.
So
Not to mention,
definitely.
you'd probably have to book it.
And
6
so,
months ago
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's another thing because we did try that in Fern 61 yesterday or the day before,
I haven't met Tamara.
and today Holly Olson of RV Renovations
Yeah.
is having a birthday.
Nice.
So lots of birthdays, and then the big celebration, the thing I want to really celebrate.
I don't
Where's
know.
your
I don't
noise?
know if we have a drum roll.
Ready? That's big enough for him. Johnny has his rig! Yay! Johnny has finally got his rig.
Congratulations, Tamara.
Yes. So Johnny definitely bring the motorcycle to Sequoia and ride in Sequoia on the road. It looks
Oh
like
my
it's
gosh,
been
yeah.
really popular with the motorcycles.
We've seen some.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool.
So I'm very excited for Johnny, and we're looking forward to seeing more pictures and getting you out on the road. So that is fun. And then just an update, Katie, and we talked about Katie and her son.
Yep,
Peyton.
brand new baby,
Mhm.
born a little premature, and
He's-
so is still in the hospital.
He's still in the hospital, but he's getting much
But doing-
stronger,
doing
and she's
well,
doing
growing.
really well. The Moores actually they were in the Dallas area, so they went by and helped her out for a little
Yeah.
while. So,
That's
so
cool.
they said she's doing really well. So
Yeah.
that's exciting. And then for the virtual campground, we also had a milestone. We hit 50,000 people.
Oh my gosh!
In the
And
RV renovations.
renovations, yeah, over 50,000 people in the RV renovations group. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there renovating RVs.
Yeah.
So that makes sense considering how many people have bought RVs lately.
Yeah.
So people are doing more with their RVs. We actually learned the other day, of course, we've been talking about how many people have bought RVs lately. And I saw a stat that said a lot of the new RVers are actually staying really pretty close to home. 54% of them don't travel really more than 200 miles.
Which it makes sense. It's probably what most RVers are. I mean, they're go out for long weekends
Yeah,
or
they go
whatever,
out to the
close to
rec
home.
areas or the state parks nearby them and
Our
enjoy
good friends Doug and Mary Poole have RV'd for years, and they stay pretty close to home.
Yeah.
They just want to go out and have a good time at the local state park or whatever.
And especially right now, I think people want to get out, but they don't want to go too far from home, and they just know RVing is the safest way to travel right now, as we all try to get out of our little bubbles after this last year. So now let's talk a little bit about meetups.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Let's do that. So we have several opportunities coming up, and we'd like to
add more opportunities.
Yeah, we'd like to add more. So we really dig it when we can get together with you guys. So
Dig it.
I'm showing my age, I guess. So anyway, we have the Camp Carpe Diem coming up later, but we are, because of the photography workshops that we're doing, we are heading into, for the fall, we're heading into Arkansas, and so we'll be there for the fall, and then we're heading straight into Caddo Lake, which is
Texas.
in northwest Texas, northeast Texas. It crosses the Louisiana-Texas border, and it's a beautiful lake, and of course Arkansas is beautiful in the fall. So anyway, we're going to be near Russellville, Arkansas,
at the state park there, the Lake Dardanelle
State Park, and then we'll be near Caddo Lake State Park. I don't know if we're going to be in the state park yet, but we'll be near Caddo Lake. So if anyone's going to be in that area in early November?
Early
Mid-November.
Early November
to
for
mid-November.
Arkansas and mid for Lake Caddo.
Yeah, just before Thanksgiving. So if anyone's going to be in the area, or if you want to reroute over to the area, then come hang out with us and let's grab a cup of coffee or a beer at a local brewery or something.
I'm gonna do some research. If people want to let me know if they can, then I'm gonna do some research and find some spots for us to meet up at.
And then we've talked about Camp Carpe Diem in the past. Of course, we're still have people signing up for that, October 7th through the 10th in Ouray, Colorado. It is stunningly beautiful, so go to campcarpediem.com if you haven't already gotten your tickets to join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some brewery tours and some photography tours and some yoga and what else? Campfires. Mountain biking.
That you're now get to join in.
That I now get to join in, since I am officially a mountain biker and
officially has a mountain bike and can join in.
I have no idea how to ride the darn thing yet, but we're
working on it.
We're working there. I'm practicing. So yeah.
Excellent. All right, so I have a trivia question of sorts, I guess it is, or just a brain teaser for folks while we're talking about everything else today. My question is, what word in the English language has all the vowel sounds in it?
A-E-I-O-U.
That is not a word, but those are the vowels. So y'all be thinking about that and let us know in the chat if you know, or put it in the comments if you're watching a replay, and let us know what you think the word is, and I will tell you at the end of the show. Remind me if I forget.
It's got to be a Hawaiian origin or Native American.
Okay, good thinking.
Cool daddy-o. That's not it.
So let's see. In Deborah's news, which we're not doing a big thing because I just had a couple of things I want to share with y'all.
And now, Deborah's news.
The biggest thing I just heard this recently, I wanted to share. Camping World is now getting into peer-to-peer rentals. So they have a website called rvrentals.com that they're going to be letting people kind of the outdoorsy and
outdoorsy.com is the other big one, and
RV Share.
And what's the other one? There's another one.
Has kind of a funny little name. I can't remember it.
Yeah, I can't remember that. But anyway, there's several now. And
so they are joining it. Plus, they bring to it the Good Sam ability to do the insurance and roadside assistance. It sounds like basically Camping World's going to try to take over the RV world.
I think Camping World is taking over the RV world.
They have all these campgrounds. They're buying more campgrounds. Yeah. They're just doing lots more things. They just bought Nomad Reservations, which is also known as campgroundbooking.com from our good friend Heath Pageant. So, so yeah, it's crazy. The good news for us is it's going to hopefully give us more choices. It's going to get more campgrounds on the internet, which will be lovely.
Yeah, I mean, the industry definitely needs that. It's just, I wish it wasn't all, in one, campground, Camping World kind of thing. But, hey,
it's
I think Camping World gets a bad rep every now and then. But
hopefully this also forces them to improve.
Yeah.
So, big news, especially if you're one of my kids. Camping World is going to start taking Bitcoin
to
buy an RV. So if
yes.
you have enough Bitcoin to buy an RV, you can buy an RV with Bitcoin.
Yeah. So start putting away your money in Bitcoin. If you do it right, you could put some money in Bitcoin, and this time next year have enough to buy a really nice Integra.
If you do it
$500,000.
right, you'd have to do it really right. So. All right, well, let's get on. You have so much great information to share with us.
So much information to share.
So let's talk about we want to talk about travel planning. Now, it's interesting that we're talking about travel planning because we're a little bit seat of our pants kind of travel planners. Yeah. We get a general gist of where we want to go, and then we sort of play it by ear.
But to be fair, even those of us that do it that way still need to use tools in order to figure out where we're going. And so it's not like we just start driving down the road and pick a campground. We look at what's out there.
We usually have a destination in mind. Yeah.
And we usually have a decent sense of what the cell service may be, although that's really a crapshoot. I mean, sometimes it'll say it's got AT&T
like
tower or whatever, but it just doesn't.
So we get a general feel for where we want to be in a certain time of year, or like it might depend on, like this year we obviously know we're going to be in Ouray, Colorado in the fall, and we want it to be somewhere that had pretty good ability to get to Colorado in May in case our son had an actual graduation ceremony, which he's not, but we're going to fly into Colorado to celebrate him anyway. But anyway, so that meant this year we decided to go west, which is new for us. It's also exciting because we got to add
more stickers on the map.
So we are, as you know, currently in California, and we're making our way up to the northwest, and then we're going to go across to Montana before we head back down into Colorado. So generally speaking, how we do this is we start out by sort of having that, and general feel.
Big picture.
And then we kind of get on RV Trip Wizard, and that helps us really figure out the directions, and because you can add your starting point, and then you add your ending point, and then you can add points along the way, so that we can kind of see what's along the way if we're trying to get from, say, Arizona where we started to Olympic National Park, and how we can divert the route to be in different places. So
an RV Trip Wizard allows you to say what size your rig is, how much does it weigh, some of your preferences. Do you want to avoid toll roads, avoid ferries, so some of those sorts of things. And then once you set those, also one of the most important things, one of the fun things I think, is you can tell it how far you want to drive every day. So you can say, I want to drive this number of miles or this number of hours, and then it puts a radius around your location. Say, okay, if you want to go from point A to point B, then this is sort of your circumference. This is how far you can go, and then it will show you all the campgrounds within that, and then you can start picking out yours that are close to that range. So like it's coming up right on the screen, it's building out our thing here, and so it's showing us where we are in theory, and then as I zoom out here, it's going to show you the radius. So this is what I put in. I don't remember 250 miles. I don't remember what it was, but that's the radius that we can travel given our preferences. So then we go pick a campground that's near the edge of that radius and say, start exploring them. And here's one option here. Sounds great. I like the name of that one. So we're going to add that to our trip. How many days are we going to stay there? Let's stay there for, 50 days. No, let's just stay there for 5 days. Add it to the trip. And then, it starts building your trip. So it's a really nice high level way to look at your plan for the season, for the year, however you want to do it. So it's a really cool tool. Yes, Jen, or whoever, Jen. If you do sign up for RV Trip Wizard, I think we're an affiliate.
Yep, we are, and and our link is in the show notes.
Yeah,
For the show, I put links in for most everything, but definitely for TripWizard. If you are interested in using it and want to use our link, that's awesome because it helps us support the virtual campground. It gives us a small commission with no cost to anybody when you use any of our links.
A few pennies for diesel.
Yep, exactly. So that's how we get started with TripWizard. That, to your point, it then shows all of these campgrounds. So at that point, we can go into usually Campendium.
Yeah, and Campendium is Campendium and free campsites and some of the others are just good tools to start exploring websites in more detail.
So yeah, because once we've kind of figured out by TripWizard the city we decided to go to for a month or a week or how long we decided, we also have to decide whether we're going to boondock or we're going to use a campground. But Campendium's great because it has all of that on it, and we can kind of play with it and see where we want to stay. The great thing about Campendium is they have a really excellent reviews by other campers. They give the stars. Now there are some campgrounds they have no reviews on. But a lot of them you'll see like this dispersed camping there, it's got 4 stars. The people will tell us whether or not it has good cell service or not. It gives it by actual carrier,
by the carriers,
Verizon, AT&T,
and it's all crowdsourced, so you know you have to take it with a grain of salt.
It's
Build
usually,
information.
Yeah, it gives you a good directional kind of where you want to go, and it links straight to the campgrounds on their website, so you can then book it. So it's really helpful. It's a great way. I love browsing it just to see all of them, because once you pick an area, then it'll show you all of the ones around it. You can also tell it you want it to be free.
And for me, this was that little favorite thing is helpful because you end up spending hours just browsing different campgrounds, and it's like, oh well, I've forgotten where I am right now. So marking them as a favorite, that you can narrow it down to a smaller group.
Yep. So that's really helpful. And then also we also have used freecampsite.net.
Yeah.
Is it .net?
Yeah, freecampsites.net is really cool, and I haven't used this up until recently. I've used it more and more because it doesn't have as elegant of an interface, but it is all about finding free places to stay. So it has been a really good resource. So you can go through there and again put in where you want to go, and then start just browsing. It gives you that sort of thumbnail there, and if it looks interesting, you go down a little deeper level. It'll tell you the weather for the week. It'll give you the reviews. It also gives you cell service whenever that's been reported by users, gives you photos. So it is similar in that sense from Campendium, but it's more about finding that free place.
The BLM
and for us, when as we try to do more and more boondocking, we want to. It's really important, since we have a 36-foot diesel pusher, that we really understand what we're getting into as much as we can before we get into it. So we'll still go scout it, but there's no point in going a mile or two down a rough, bumpy road to find out that it's been closed for the last year. And if you had just read some reviews, you might have discovered that before going down that road.
Not that we always
not
we're not good at that sometimes. Yeah. So those are great tools to find a campground or a BLM land. Another one is the Dirt.
Yep. I haven't used the Dirt as much. It's a new tool for us, but similar concept. But some people swear by this, and I think maybe it's just it's very similar to freecampsites.net. Maybe a little bit more. It's a more clean interface. I really haven't compared the two, but it's very similar.
And Kellyanne asked about the cost. And the RV TripWizard you can do it monthly, or for the year it's I think $49. Campendium, there's a membership cost.
It's a membership. You sign up to be a member. I don't remember paying for Campendium.
Maybe not. And then I don't remember either. And then as far as the Dirt goes, I know there is free and there is a member area. So it's really, and we're not members, I don't think, of the Dirt.
I don't think so.
I can't really tell you how much that costs. But we know folks that think it's great, especially on BLM land. information, or
Yeah.
free camping, I should say, information. So
Yeah, we've been hearing more and more about the dirt, and I think it's more,
it's
yeah,
newer, yeah, definitely
newer,
newer.
and then maybe more van life. I don't know. Maybe the really smaller vehicles.
Maybe,
I-
but I think
seems like I've
it
heard it in
has. Yeah,
reference
I
to
think
that.
it really definitely started with the van life kind of thing, but I think it's grown out from there. Yes, I believe that the internet can be full of rabbit holes,
Oh,
and,
yes,
and
definitely.
campgrounds are great. We really it does start being one of those things. I forget that I'm actually looking to find a campground to stay in, and just start looking at campgrounds because I want to see where they are and
Yep.
what they have, and just it's
Yeah.
kind of a
Kinda fun
weird
to think
little
you're gonna-
passion thing, I
Yeah.
guess. Yes. What we do. So anyway, the dirt is, you mentioned that, and then the other one, the one that's new for us and that we just started using, was Boondockers Welcome.
Yeah. So when I was in that courting period with you, trying to talk you into this lifestyle,
Yes.
I found Boondockers Welcome early on, and I signed us up. As soon as you said, okay, we'll do this, I signed us up to Boondockers Welcome, and we never used it until 2
Last
weeks ago.
week, yeah.
Right? So, and I don't know why we waited so long, because it was a really cool experience. But it is people that have property that allow you to stay on their property for free. Some have hookups. Some may charge a little bit for a hookup or whatever, but here you say where you're going, what radius within which you want to stay, close to that area, how many nights. You can stay up to 5 nights at some of these locations. They all have their sort of different rules. And then how big is your rig? So here it's narrowed it down to 2 that were within the area that we wanted to stay. So if you select one of those, it gives you more detail. And it gives you, some of them have more detail than others, but in this case, this was the one we stayed at, and it says we've got space to 6 rigs. Here's how big the rig can be, how many nights maximum. And then basically from there, you can scroll down and read more details all about that particular space. Add it to your favorites, of course, which is my new thing. Whether or not they allow you to run the generator, whether or not they have, can run a water hose out to you or whatever. Generally where it's located. So it's really cool. And then you basically make a request, and then they get back to you and say, hey, yeah, we've got space for you, or we don't have space for you, sorry. And then, really cool. I think we're going to be doing more of that. It worked out really well.
It was lovely because it was a couple's home. It was a farmyard, so they had a vineyard. And then right behind us were some pistachio trees, and they had a bunch of orange trees. They let us pick oranges from it. They invited us up for the evening
We
to
had a glass
just sit
of
and
wine
talk
with
with them.
them.
The wife is a huge gardener.
She's a
and
master gardener.
Took me through her garden, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Our friend Kathy would have loved it, and showed me what was growing, and there were things there I didn't even know existed. I got to pick some mulberries off of her tree and have them, and they were very tasty. I really had never seen a mulberry tree before, honestly. So yeah, it was a really neat experience, and something that's just a little different. That's what between that and the Doyles this last week, we've had some really fun RV experiences that are unique, which is what you want to try to have.
That's right. It's really what this is all about.
Exactly.
It's not just going to a campground, and for us, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But meeting other people and having those experiences, really, it's all about the experience.
Absolutely. And yeah, Kellyanne, definitely you want to think about where you want to sign up and where spend money, because there's a lot of places you can spend money in the RV world as apps and different things. And the good thing is a lot of them do have free versions. Campania has a free version. They have a free version or they have free trials, so you can try it. So I know like TripWizard has a free trial if you wanted to try it for a little bit before you bought it. Harvest Host is one that actually we use quite a bit, especially when you're going from one place to another. So we found the campground we want to go to. It's going to take us a few days to get there, so we'll use Harvest Host to book a spot that's free, for the in-between. Again, getting to have those really cool experiences that you wouldn't have in any other way, really. So like for instance, we were recently at a Harvest Host that was a golf course.
Yeah.
And This that we're about to show?
Well, not that one, but this is
Okay.
an example of that sort of thing. This happens
Yeah.
to be a farm, but yeah, we've been at golf courses, we've done farms, we've done wineries. That went by a little quick, but yeah, we stopped at that golf course, and they were finishing up a tournament, and so we weren't able to go into the bar or restaurant that evening. But we went and had a nice breakfast the next morning.
Yummy breakfast burrito.
Yeah, and sat out on their porch and looked
Oh
over
yeah,
the golf
it was
course.
great.
It was nice.
Yeah, I got to take a nice walk on the golf course. It was lovely. And Kellyanne, I agree with you. There's a lot of things that are really full right now, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this today, to show the different ways you can book. What we're learning is, as we travel more, and over the summer, it is going to be really crowded out there. People are going out. They're mostly going out, it seems like, on the weekends. So it's really hard to find places over the weekend, is what we're finding. And that's where something like Boondockers Welcome, Harvest Host,
And boondocking,
in general really come in handy. We will stay at campgrounds a lot of times just during the week. Because, like, for instance, the campground we're in right now, the whole row next to us is totally empty. But over the weekend, totally full. So yeah, that is really helpful. And if you plan your travels enough, that works. And then if you plan to go for longer than, say, a week or two, like a month, you get some really good rates then. And oftentimes that's a little easier for some reason. I mean, not easier to find at this point if you're trying for the whole month of June probably. But I think that they hold some.
Yeah, maybe
some
so,
campgrounds might hold for that longer term.
Generally speaking, though, if you're going to book a month, you're looking further out,
Yeah.
and so there's just more opportunity to book.
options, absolutely.
And yeah, it's like our next stay is for a month in Chowchilla, and so that'll be nice.
Yeah, and we did that back in January.
Yeah.
So that was one we just knew we wanted to go to Yosemite, and so that was a good one to go ahead and kind of put a place marker that's where we want it to be for a month. So yeah, so trying to think, that is where some planning has to come into hand. For instance, I know right now, and Jen can pipe up about this, if you want to be in Florida next February or March,
Good
it's
luck
too
with
late. So you really those sort of things you have to think about way far in advance.
Yeah.
And you just have to take into consideration, where do people want to be. And like I said, the weekdays, it's usually not that terribly hard. So if you, and boondocking for just a weekend, that's a pretty simple thing, no matter what size you have, really. I mean, as long as you can find a spot, that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, then leaving on the weekends, that works out. So yeah, that's good. And Harvest Host is really good about, there are a couple that'll even let you stay more than one night, but you can certainly just keep moving around.
Yeah, yeah. We were going to in Grand Junction, Colorado. There were 3 Harvest Hosts that were just almost stone's throw from each other. One actually shared a parking lot. 2 of them shared a parking lot. We were going to just bebop from one to the other over that weekend, but it ended up being 95 degrees, and we didn't want to just run our generators 100% of the time.
So we wanted to get,
we headed to a campground.
And Harvest Host is great, so I'm glad that they extended
Harvest
your
Host is
membership for you.
amazing.
They're another one that we are an affiliate for, and I do have a link. If you haven't bought a Harvest Host, then please use our link. It gets you 15% off of their membership fee.
Yeah, and it's great. Get the golf membership, get the whole enchilada, and just gives you tons of great options.
And some fun ones. You also get such unique, special stays.
Oh, we interviewed Joel, the owner, and he had a couple of, he talked a little bit about a couple of really interesting ones. So go back and look at past YouTube or some of our past videos.
We'll put a link.
And it's a good interview and good information about Harvest Host.
Yep, lots of great places. All right, so that brings us to an exciting new thing for us.
Yes.
This is new for us. And I haven't actually used it yet, but I am so excited about what he is going to do with his product that we wanted to share it with you. So,
so this is a short, very short. I mean, it's 5 minutes video that's highlights sort of the longer
teaser.
form, teaser of the longer form video that hit our YouTube channel this morning. So if you want to see the long form, go there and you'll have a little more detail, but here is the quick teaser version. We'll see
with
you on
Mark
the other side.
of Campground.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I guess we should tell them
Views.com.
who it is. Yeah, we're not good. We're not professionals. So.
And we're learning.
Hey, Mark. Welcome
Hi.
to the Virtual Campground. We are so glad you are here. Thank you for joining
Thank you.
us.
Yes, thank you very
Hey.
much.
Thank you for having me, and hello, everybody.
Hi. So I saw something about campgroundviews.com, which is your company, and just got really excited and tickled about it because, of course, we all know that campground booking is really hard,
Really difficult.
especially these days.
So when we started RVing, the only sources of information were review sites, and you had to spend a lot of time reading reviews trying to pick a campground. And anybody who's done that knows that sometimes the reviews are great and they lead you to the right place, and sometimes they're fake and you end up at the wrong place, or the right place was scared away from you because it had a bunch of bad reviews. And so through all that, cell phones started coming out with cameras on them, and we decided, hey, everybody's got cameras. Let's start sharing photos and videos. And that was exactly what happened. And that was the catalyst to build campgroundviews.com. We now have 16,000 campgrounds with over 40,000 photographs, over 3,000 videos, and thousands of reviews of those campgrounds and RV parks. 3,000 of them have videos, and it depends on where the videos come from. So any camper can send us a video of a park. There's a link on there to submit your video to us, and then we'll edit out license plates and faces. The biggest problem in camping, and I might be wrong on this, but maybe you agree with me, is actually trying to find a campsite.
Oh, for
And
sure.
especially with so many people camping, it's a nightmare trying to find a campsite. You spend hours and hours and hours. And the obvious solution and the obvious question is, why hasn't Google Street View driven through this campground so I can see that site and see if I'll fit?
Yep.
That's exactly what we're doing. We're going to the campgrounds with a 360 video camera. So it's actually a little bit better than Google Street View, because Google Street View are photos, not videos. So we're taking videos in 360. And then we're going to the next level, which is adding on augmented information. So as you're doing that virtual tour of a campground, information about the sites will pop up in your display. You can click on those information icons, get more information about that site, how long it is and all those type of details. And if that's not good enough, you can also then click on a book now. So you're seeing the site, you see if it's available, get the information on it, and click on it to book it. So we believe it's pretty groundbreaking stuff. It currently integrates directly with recreation.gov. And this last summer, we went out and we captured all of the recreation.gov properties in the states of Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Nevada.
Wow.
And then when you book, you're actually completing your booking at recreation.gov. So all their reminders, their emails, you're in their reservation system. So we're not even collecting personally identifiable information. And where this really helps is anybody who owns an RV, especially one that's in like the 32 to 35 foot range or bigger, you've heard that a lot of Forest Service, they limit you, right? They say if you're over 32 feet, you can't come. And a lot of folks wonder why. Well, these virtual tours allow you to see, and you'll either recognize that, yeah, they're right, I couldn't make that turn if I'm that long, or maybe they're not right, and you could easily pull into that campground and get into that site. You never drive anywhere you don't know how to exit. So there will be various levels of memberships once this goes live. In the meantime, the big one we're selling is lifetime access. So if you grab that right now, is lifetime access, and that is $250. We call it the Camping Insider. That's $100, and that gets you a year's worth of access. And what I mean by years, we're actually giving it like 18 months, because that way you get through the launch, and then it'll be a year after that. It's looking like we should have them all live by July if everything goes the way it's going right now. Recreation.gov last year, so 2020, received over 32 million unique visitors searching for campgrounds. Yet recreation.gov on average only has about a 35% occupancy of their campgrounds. And the reason being is it's really easy to find a campground in Zion National Park or Yellowstone, right? Everybody knows about those main ones. But what people don't know about are the lesser known campgrounds. This information, we believe, will help people stop guessing, actually see the campgrounds, and be able to travel out and camp more often. We're fellow RVers. We're building this because we want to get more people outside, and we'd love your support.
Awesome. Great.
Thank you, Mark. So nice meeting you. Thanks
Yes.
for being on the Virtual Campground.
Thank you.
So that is exciting, I think.
Yeah,
to
that's
be able to
really
actually
cool.
see it and to know if it's taken or not.
Yeah.
That's going to be game changing if they get it. He mentions later in the interview that, as he said, they're with RecGov right now and they're in certain states, but they plan on going all the way across, and they're really hopeful that that they can get more campsites on, and
Right.
then and even beyond recreational gov. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, it's really cool technology. They spent a ton of money getting it to this point, and yeah, it'd be great.
They we do have a link in the show notes about how you can learn more from them and even become a member of them. They are pricey right now because really it's more like you're investing in the product with them, but if you want to be on the cutting edge and really get the special information is only going to be available to the people that are members. These campground review, this 360.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, it's a little bit pricey.
What's $250 for
I think there was a
lifetime?
Yeah,
100
I
a
think
year,
they're 100 a year, or
$250 for a lifetime.
Yeah, something like that. So,
But if you've made the commitment to be in this RV lifestyle for the next few years, then
it could be worth it.
yeah, and especially if you want to stay in federal lands, then that's what recreation.gov is going to give you. So yeah, cool stuff.
Speaking of recreational.gov.
Oh, so yeah, we wanted to give you just a quick overview of recreation.gov. I'm sure many of you or all of you have been there, but so you can, of course, book your campground through recreation.gov if it's a federal campground. So this is just a quick overview of those that haven't done it before. And I don't, when I go to this, I don't put in tons of parameters other than maybe how long our rig is, just so people will, just so it's going to narrow down to the campgrounds that could fit our rig. And even to the point where I was looking at Joshua Tree at one point, and the site said it held a 35-foot rig. And so I called the Park Service there or emailed them. And they got back to me and said, look, if you want to try to fit your 36-foot rig inside of a 35-foot space, that's fine. Come try it. But if it doesn't fit,
Too bad.
it doesn't fit. So hopefully those walkthroughs may help do that so you can really actually see it. But this is the most important thing. So many of the national parks are going to timed entry, or like in the case of Yosemite, where you buy one entry for the day, it's good for 3 days, but you have to have a pass to get in. Not only your normal
Annual
national
pass
annual
or
pass
your
or whatever,
entry fee. Yeah,
you
it's
have
in
to get a
addition
timed entry to get into it. And this happens, of course.
Yes, because it's
So
difficult.
you have to make sure you understand what the rules are to get into that federal national campground or whatever, or wherever you're heading, and you can buy those permits and time tickets on recreation.gov.
Yeah, so we definitely found this to be, you have to have this to do the shuttle in Zion, and it's crazy how fast the tickets go.
No,
you
my
have
gosh. It is
two
nuts.
options. You can do it about a month in advance or the night before at 5 o'clock. And if you're not on at 5 o'clock, then you're not going to have a shuttle ticket the next day. Though we did learn one little tip that we'll pass on.
This
so
is
if
good.
get on at 4:59 and start hitting the refresh button, and the minute that it says, be ready, make sure you know how many tickets you want and have it all ready. You do need to have your RecGov profile already set up, and be inside there. But if at 5 o'clock or 5 o'clock and 2.5 seconds it's sold out,
just wait.
Take a deep breath and hit refresh, and just hit refresh and probably 2 minutes later some tickets will come up, because what happens is everybody's buying tickets at the same time, and we're both on there trying to get tickets, and he gets them and I get them at the same time. So then I'm going to let go of mine, so now that becomes available to the next person. So so those are so that's a good tip.
It's worse than buying Peter Frampton tickets in the 70s.
Yes, again, showing your age. So we also were meant to talk about two other apps that we use.
Oh, yeah.
One is when you're actually navigating is Co-Pilot.
Oh, yeah.
So people ask us a lot of times what we use to get from one place to another.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on that, but people have different apps that they
GPSs,
use, GPSs, in order to drive from point A to point B. And Copilot's one that we've been using for the last year or so. It works out well for us. We don't have an affiliate relationship with them. We just think it's a decent product, but it's an app for iOS. I assume it's on Android. I don't care really. So anyway, you put in the height and weight of your vehicle, and then it's in theory routes you around things that you shouldn't be going in.
It's really made for truck drivers, right?
Yeah, I think it was primarily for truck drivers in the beginning. There's also something called Trucker's Path. That's a similar iOS-based app or Android. And of course, there are standalone GPSs like from Garmin or whatever. The Garmin 670 or something like that is a really good standalone RV GPS.
Yep. And then the other thing we want to talk about, we've talked a lot about finding cell service. So what do you use to make sure we can be in an area with cell service?
So there's a Find Tower, all one word, is an app that it's just to be completely frank, I'm not in love with the app. It is a pain to use, but what happens, and because they're always trying to sell you something, but what happens is you get to an area and you bring that app up, and then it will search for local towers, and it will tell you, here are the 3 AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, or whatever towers that are in your area. And then of course you can move your phone and it will tell you, okay, now you're pointed at that tower and it's 600 meters away or whatever, and then you can go put your hotspot or your antenna and direct it that direction. So that works out really well. The thing that I don't like is if it doesn't find in that immediate area, then it pops up and says, do you want to try our advanced search or whatever? So they're trying to sell you that upgrade. So you just say no, and then you can expand your search to a bigger area and whatever. So that's been a really good app, except for that annoying thing. And the Kempers turned us onto that app, and it's been really helpful.
Good. Excellent. Okay. And then, of course, because you are old, the other thing that we use a lot is the Mcnally Atlas.
Oh yeah. So I grew up. My parents RV'd for a little bit, and they traveled all the time and took us on family vacations. And Dad, I can remember just having a big atlas out on the table, planning our route. And so I just grew up loving paper maps. And so anyway, we have a trucker's atlas. And we have a specific, a very detailed map for Colorado, a big Rand Mcnally type map for Colorado. But the one that she's referring to is Rand Mcnally National Parks, and they just came out with a new version.
They have a 98th edition just came out with even more information on national parks, including our newest national park in West Virginia.
So it's cool. The front end of it, talks a little bit about the different parks. And then they have when you're looking at like California or whatever, it'll have a blow up of some of the different national parks in that particular state.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so now we've gotten to the places we're going to be, and we have a few apps we want to share with you that we're really excited about that we use. Yeah. That we thought were fun to share. The first one, and I wish I had an affiliate for this because I keep talking about it, but we don't. But it's called the Kempers.
The Kempers, yeah. Kempers told us about this.
They're the ones that told us about it.
Yeah.
But it's called Just Ahead.
We get all of our information from the
Kempers. Just Ahead is an app that actually is for national parks. So when you're coming into a national park, you turn it on. It uses GPS, so you don't have to have cell service, and it gives you just ahead information about what's just ahead of you in the park. So it gives you details about the park, history, scenes or sites that you're going to see as you're passing them. It's great. Yeah. There is a cost. It's about $29.99. Now, I saw a flight, for the year, and it's all of the campgrounds for that price. I think there's also a price for if you want to buy individual. I saw a code 47 on a flyer. Try it. I don't know. It's supposed to be half off. I saw it after I bought it, of course. So, but anyway, but I think it's sensational.
Here's a little demo of that.
This is Just Ahead, your audio tour guide to the world. Welcome back to your Just Ahead tour of Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks. We're glad to be along for the ride. Here's a note about the history of Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks. In a sense, the story of these parks is also the story of the entire concept of national parks. For it was here and in Yosemite that America's best idea took shape. The year was 1890, and the patron saint of the Sierra Nevada, the writer and naturalist John Muir, had been pushing hard for preservation of Sequoia and Kings Canyon, as well as Yosemite Valley and Yosemite's Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias.
So there you
Yeah,
go.
it's
Now
a lot
you
of
know a
fun.
little bit about sequoias.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is a great app. And then one of the things that we always seem to be, on the road, you're traveling down the road, and it's like, what are those mountains?
Yeah.
Do you know, what's the name of the
Who
range?
put
or-
those there? What are they called?
What are their names? So Barry found an app for that.
Yeah, this one, I'm pretty, now this demo, I didn't calibrate it, so it's a little off, but it gives you the idea. So off in the distance, those were the mountain ranges, and it tells you the mountain and the height. And I'm sure there's other stuff that this app does. I just haven't explored it much, but I'm just pretty excited about knowing what the
Names
mountains
are. Yeah, we're in the Sequoia National Park, by the way. And then we are looking for the best app for these two things. And one we found, one to identify plants, because as you start traveling around, you start seeing all these plants that you've never seen before, flowers you've never seen before, and you just get curious. So Barry found this one called Picture This. You take a picture with your phone, and you can either do it then if you have cell service or later if you don't, and it will then give you all the information you
Tons of
could
information,
ever need.
including whether or not that plant was featured in a poem. Apparently, like this one, scroll up, and there is a poem by Walt Whitman that
there you
featured
go.
that plant.
A Kentuckian walking. Huh.
And then you can text that to your loved one. Not the poem, but the whole
The whole
information about the
Buckeye.
plant.
So yeah, so that's one. So if you know of any other apps for that, that one there is a free version, or you could pay for it. But if you know of any other apps, we'd love to hear it. And then the other one I always am looking for is birds. One that I have found is Merlin. It's put out by the Cornell Lab, so that's helpful.
when you say-
Can't take a picture of it. You have to put in details.
Okay, yeah. So you have to put it.
You put in like the size and the color, and it will give you sounds if you can identify sounds. I'm not good at that. So it's a good app.
I wonder, didn't you find an app that you could record the sound of the bird, and then it would tell you what bird what was? Maybe that's just a
don't
Google
think
thing.
so.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll have to
no.
look into that.
Yeah. So if you know of a bird app, let me know that. And then we also are constantly looking at the stars, because of course, we're hopefully in a place with low light pollution. So we use this one, Sky Guide, to know the name of the stars, or sometimes planets,
Or
depending.
satellites.
Or satellite, yeah, it'll also show you there's a satellite coming. Or we had one the other day, we were in Death Valley, we used it, and it was telling us that a rocket was passing by.
I don't know how that works. But anyway, here just an example. We're going to look for Sirius. And and it's going to, so we click on that, and it says, okay, it's over to the left. Move over to the left, move over to the left, move. There it is. Now, if you hit that eye, that will give you, that's for information, that will give you more detailed information, tons of information about that particular star, planet, whatever it is, satellite, whatever it is you search for, it'll give you tons of information on it. So pretty cool app. We use it quite a bit, actually.
Quite a bit, because I'm always asking him, what's that star? So then I also, because again, we're old fashioned, we also, when we're looking at places, these are a couple of our favorite book things that we use. Secrets of the National Parks, put out by National Geographic, and Scenic Highways and Byways.
Both those are really good books.
These are great because this one gives you like information on Sequoia, but not the information that maybe is everywhere. Like a park ranger will tell you the trails of Sequoia is great because it's going to be very low traffic there. And instead of like where General Sherman is, where there's lots of traffic. And then this is fun because either if we can on the road with the RV, we might use it, but a lot of times it's just what's a nearby scenic drive that we could take that's going to be really pretty. I also really like this one. This covers more than just national parks. It's lots of different parks. One of the reasons I like it is because it'll also tell you things like what's nearby. And so if you're going to say, one particular state park, it might tell you that your neighbors are these others, that they're within a pretty good distance, so you can also go there. And then we also use Fodor's for national parks,
and
because
some
it's
others,
just
yeah.
comprehensive.
Yeah.
So
And I've got picked up a couple of books. I didn't bring them, but that are more trail oriented that tell you about the trails that are in there and history of the park and that sort of thing. So,
Yep. So, and then we found out about a new app that I'm going to try out. I tried out just before the show because I literally just heard about it 30 minutes ago, called Hear Here. Hear as in your hear, and hear as in your hearing. And it's, yes, cute. It's sort of like just ahead. It gives you stories from where you are. It'll give you, hey, there's some stories around, little markers, and it'll tell you a little story. Some of them are read to you by Kevin Costner or John Lithgow, so that's kind of fun. But they'll give you information. Like the one I listened to was one about water here in California, the water irrigation stuff that they have.
Yeah.
So that's something that I will investigate more and let you know. There is a cost to that one too. So I think that's it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Wow,
So let us
phew.
know if
Lots
there
of
are
information.
any other apps that
We
you guys
missed,
use on
yeah.
a regular basis that we've missed, because we're
So definitely
Okay.
let us know in the comments, either here in chat or in the comments below the show, other things that you're using that you find really helpful. Comment on what we mentioned if you think it's good, bad, or indifferent. We'd love to hear from you and add some comments to
Yeah.
this. We hope that this was really helpful. We had fun, but Barry worked really hard putting this together, all those little demos. So that was exciting, and so thank you
Yeah.
for listening with us. So anyway, coming up soon, kind of news. We try to have Facebook Live the third Thursday. I missed it last month, and we're gonna miss it this month because I'm gonna be out of town from Barry, and he won't do it by himself. So that's, just know that. And then as far as information coming this summer, Barry did an awesome job interviewing a solar guy who helps people put it in themselves.
Yeah, Dan with rvsolarconsulting.com. He's going to be our solar specialist.
And so Barry's editing that, and so that'll be coming up this summer. We'll talk a little bit more about that in an upcoming show, and then posting a series actually, because they talked about a lot of good stuff in our YouTube channel. So you can go be on the lookout for that. Of course, if you are subscribed or ring the bell, it will let you know when a new video comes in.
Yeah, ring that bell.
Our next live is June 1st, so it's the first day of the month. That'll be exciting. Yes, we'll be in Chowchilla at the time, so please let us know if you'll be in the area, as we mentioned. And let's see. Oh, and I also wanted to, knowing we were talking about campground booking, I think another couple that is doing a really great job with a podcast, they also do some stuff on YouTube, but podcast was their main thing, is RV Miles.
Yeah, they're
On
good.
Thursday, they're doing a live on Facebook that is about campground booking, and they are going to interview Mark, that we showed you from Campground Views, and someone else to talk about kind of BLM, land, boondocking, and just in this middle of all this not being able to find a campground, how to find a campground. So if you want to watch them, go to RV Miles. It's at 7 on Thursday, 7 Central on Thursday. And I know it's on Facebook, and I assume it's on their own page.
Yeah.
So a little plug for them.
Yeah, they're good.
Okay. So the only other thing I wanted to say was Happy Mother's Day early to anyone out there that's a mother, including my own. Happy Mother's Day. And that is all for now. Right?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. We want to ask you to help us out. So each time we get on here, we ask for help. And this week we'd like to for your help. If you are on Facebook, go to if you're not already a member of the Virtual Campground on Facebook, we have two groups out there. We've got a private group as well as a public page. Go out, like or subscribe to those. We would sincerely appreciate, and we look forward to seeing you there. And I think that is it. So as far as an outro goes, when we got here, we dropped anchor, so to speak, on our site, and we got in a Jeep and we went out to not Sequoia National Park, but
Sequoia Monument.
Sequoia Monument. And there is a trail there, Trail of 100 Giants. Really quick trail. We did it. It was snowing on us a little bit.
Yeah, it
was
snowed when we got
crazy.
there, and we were by ourselves.
Yeah.
We've done 3 trails
It's crazy.
since getting up to this area
And have seen
with
hardly anyone.
sequoias, and have seen 6 people.
And we saw a bear
Also
a
a
couple
bear.
of days ago.
A live bear.
Yeah, a live bear, not stuffed. Not nearly as many people as I thought. But anyway, we did this hike. It's a really short hike, so I've only got like a dozen or so photos. So it'll be a really quick outro for you, but I hope you enjoy it. And thanks for being here. It's great having everybody involved, and comment.
We have
subscribe,
links in the
hit that
show notes
bell.
for most of this, and I'll add some. And like we said, let us know in the comments what you have used and enjoy.
Yeah.
And we'll see you around the campfire.
Yeah, until we can see you in person, we hope to see you in the virtual campground. Y'all have a good night.